Hello! I got something different for you guys. So, for context, a few days ago someone commented on my Hero video that I should use Stug with him and it would make for great content. And I took that personal. I'm joking, of course, but I wanted to make Stug kill Steel Path without issues. But never did I imagine that I would be able to manage to make it kill level cap disruptors. That didn't cross my mind that we would be able to manage to make that work. So how this monstrosity of a build works is basically we rely on Lavos for the main toxin damage. Thanks to his augment valence fusion, you infuse toxin damage into your Stug. You prime the disruptor. You have Hero's crit buff, which is necessary to kill anything higher level. And that just results in you killing the disruptor. Yes, I could have been boring. I could have just used Seren, Banshee, or Damage Bugs, or Heat Inherit for that matter. But all of those were... I mean, look at it that way. Seren already is a Giga Weapon buffer thanks to her Toxin Lash with Raw. Banshee, I mean, it's stupid damage multiplier. Of course, if you use Banshee, you're gonna kill something. And Heat Inherit would have been also out of the question, cause Phage does way too much heat damage, and it would have been mainly Phage killing Disruptor, not Stug. So we resorted to using Stug with Lavos, Toxin damage, and Hero, which, yeah, it's just stupid. I'm gonna show a quick screenshot of my mod setup here on Lavos. The Lavos build you can actually use on other weapons. It works perfectly fine. The only issue it has is it struggles with survivability in high levels. So unless you're experienced in using that, like only relying on rolling guards for higher levels, I would not recommend using this in higher ones. Though for base steel path, it should absolutely wreck anything. As for primer, we had Phage, which I've also thrown a quick screenshot. It's just purely status duration with viral, corrosive, and cold. Cold for the extra crit damage, of course. Melee, I still had my Titron with me. Same thing as ever. I'm gonna show a screenshot of that as well. I'm gonna put the ribbon stats also on screen, so... Yep. And lastly, the monstrosity Stug. I present to you the monstrosity we came up with. So, to give a bit of context, why am I playing Toxin and Cascadia Flare? The answer for that is simple. I'm using a heat gun on my Riga, so he procs Cascadia Flare for me. Yes, that works. Yes, you can use heat from other sources to proc Cascadia Flare. That works. It just states that you need to do a heat status effect. So I'm using my Riga. Yes, I could have used a melee arcane for easy uptime, but this just resulted in most damage, and we went for that. The Riven has fire rate and damage to Grenier. This thing needs fire rate. It really needs it. So replace the Riven, in case you want to recreate this, with a fire rate mod. Else you won't be able to use this gun reliably. Yeah, damage. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. Why we choose that. If you want to make this gun actually kill groups, I would recommend using it with Zefa. Because a few days ago, also my Zefa pistol vid, if you use that build, you should be able to kill entire groups with like 1 or 2 shots. So that shouldn't be an issue. You could also just rely on heat damage for base steel path to proc flare on your own, but this thing has abysmal status chance. It never procs statuses. That's why we ended up using Lavos, because thanks to his valence fusion, you get guaranteed toxin procs. I was using Madurai, which was also kinda necessary on level cap. So as you see, it takes really long to kill a disruptor with this thing. It's like 30 seconds or something. Once it just insta-killed the disruptor, I don't know what happened there. I'm guessing something to do with Phage and it proccing a damage proc, but I'm gonna show that clip as well. But besides that, this thing is just... It was funny to make this work. It really was funny. if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. So, like I said, don't recreate this build for your own sanity. It took me 6 forma for Lavos and 5 for Stug, plus getting a Riven and getting a decent roll on that. Yeah, it is honestly funny, but not worth it in the slightest. Like, just use normal weapons. I just did it for the memes. And I'm pretty satisfied with what me and Ino came up with, even though it took like 8 hours of, like, doing the run took 3 hours, because Stug is not the fastest weapon, and 5 hours for just coming up with an idea how to make this gun work. We went through everything from Mirage to Nesha to anything which remotely buffs pistols or elemental damage. So, yeah. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me about this monstrosity of a gun and a build. If not, enjoy the content. Peace.